Hello everyone, my name is Pragya Biswas, and today with us we have an eminent PR expert, Ma'am Rita Bhimani. Welcome ma'am, and a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Pragya. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you ma'am. Ma'am, what would you say is the role of a corporate public relations expert?
Corporate public relations is something that has evolved over the years from what it used to be maybe 30, 40 years ago to something where it has come to play an advisory role with the management so that companies can then take their brands forward and they can take their message across to a larger group of stakeholders in the most credible manner. So corporate public relations has become an integral part of the activities and the verticals of any company.
Ma'am, when you first started working, did you have any insecurities, and if so, how did you overcome them?
When I first started, it was a long time ago, and I basically came into this field after being a journalist. I started my career in journalism, and then I found that public relations was the right kind of career because of the fact that I had actually studied in USA, and there they had a very, very strong college of journalism and of public relations. In fact, one of my professors and the dean of the college was Dr. Scott Cutlip, who was one of the authorities on public relations. So on an academic level, one had gone through PR, but when you actually face it, to answer your question, it was very different, because remember, at that time it was much more of a man's world where we had to prove ourselves. It was not something that people look upon as a soft profession. They think of PR as that, but it is not that. It is a hugely knowledge-based profession, but in the beginning one had to prove oneself through the acquisition of information about the company, about the business it was in, and then be able to communicate it to the people in the right manner. But the challenges were huge, being a woman, definitely.
Ma'am, you have worked as a newsreader and as a writer and have been working as a PR expert for almost 50 years now. So according to you, which was the most challenging profession?
To me, it's something that I cherish most is this whole idea of keeping on writing, because writing should never stop. As a newsreader, you were just really facing the camera, and in our time, reading rather than actually giving our opinion about news. So we were not anchoring, we were just mainly news readers. But once one got into formal PR, it has become, to me, not just a profession, it's a passion, and it's a passion I've been growing by writing a lot of books on the subject, which I feel I can pass on to the next generation, because the whole idea is that you don't hold on to your own subject, you don't hold on to your own knowledge. You've got to pass it down, you've got to share it with others. So that's why, to me, writing is my main passion, and I'm keeping on writing books. Even during the pandemic, I wrote a 50,000 word book, which is awaiting publication. Now also I'm continuing to write. So that never stops, and that is what I feel more people in PR should be doing. They should have the writing and the speaking and the communicative skills.
Ma'am, bringing that writing, the practice of writing, ma'am, you have authored, as you just said, you have authored multiple books. So, ma'am, while writing, what would you say, like what elements should be kept in mind?
The main element that should be kept in mind is that your research has to be very, very strong, because without that, you're reaching something to the public, and you have a big responsibility to your readership. So you can't just write something fanciful and say that I've written it for people. So you have to be solid in the facts that you have before you put it out. So it's a huge responsibility. But then you have to give it your own twist, your own style, your own method of putting it across. How you do it, whether you do it in a storytelling style or you do it with a certain flourish of the language, that is up to you. That is where you score over others as a writer.
Ma'am, lastly, what advice would you like to impart to our students who would want to work in the field of PR in future?
One is read, read, read. Second is research, research, research. Top up your knowledge base, because without knowing what you're trying to communicate, you cannot reach out to anyone. So you have to be solid in your knowledge about whichever area you go into, because say if you go into a PR agency and they have a lot of verticals, they may put you in the medical field where they will want you to have face clients who are in that particular field, or you could go into IT. So the thing is that in some ways you have to be a multiple knowledge person, but then to me what is important is I think you should specialize, and because people are nowadays looking for specialists, and that is going to be the way forward for people in PR.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful speaking with you, and we hope to meet you again on this platform.
I'd love to do that, Pragya, and I must say I wish you all the best. You're just in your first year, and I hope you can continue in this profession and grow in it and give your best.
We bring an end to our conversation today.